This week did not go to plan. I lost iRating at the Nürburgring. I tried something completely different in VR in the M2s. I got caught up in chaos in the normal GR86 Cup, and somehow it all came down to this final race. This is Grip's Edge. Now please enjoy my first Nürburgring race in this car and some live footage. I'm just talking about how I don't want to crash into anyone and I have to be patient.
On your left, clear left.
Any kind of dangerous racing, more or less. So we'll see how we go. But I still want to be competitive. Oh my goodness, why is this guy braking so much for that?
There's an incident in, that's him back. Looks like it's Joe.
Sorry, mate.
Red yellow flag, there's debris out there.
Of course, that was me.
We've got some work to
Classic.
do now, mate.
Bit too competitive for me and good. In P20 now, I think. Or whatever last place is.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
There's an incident in. Miss hit miss. It looks like Ray. Jordan, car number 2, is now leading.
No idea how to drive these things.
Sorry, Jordan, that was
Partial throttle, I suppose, is the way.
Williams.
And then flat out.
Left side, clear left.
Thanks, Nathan. See everyone up ahead. It's a very difficult race to race, I'm not gonna lie.
Place, 2 to go.
After the first lap, I'm in 13th place with 7 incident points. I still need to gain a couple positions and I cannot get any more incident points, so I have to drive safe and hard.
Yellow flag.
Will I be able to catch him on the straight? I doubt it. It's quite a few seconds.
Romero has been disqualified.
Thanks for locking them up, bud. Just sliding across the track.
This is the moment. Gain nearly a second on that part of the straight. Can I gain for the rest of the straight? Do I have it in me to get B11? Just shy of B10. Will I have of the top 10? I really don't think so. All I can do is hope.
Sorry, did anybody fucked up their race in the first lap? I was fucked up hard.
Red yellow flag.
Just not quite. I was so close.
P11, well done, mate. That's the finish. Good result.
I think when he breaks here, and I didn't really want to brake that hard, so I tried to take the inside line and just completely took him out, which was pretty unlucky. From his cockpit, he's just driving. He's not even that slow compared to the person behind him, and then he just gets taken out. Unlucky. Sorry, Joel. -7, but plus 0.02. Started in P14, finished in P11. Average lap time of a 8:17.1, fastest lap an 8:05. So I ended that race with a loss of 7 iRating. Race 2, cheap VR is mid. Now, if you want to skip to 6:38, you can if you can't handle the VR. What you see on the screen is what I saw in my race, minus the mouse on the right. So it was very jagged, edgy, and quite difficult to follow along with what was going on. Kind of hurt my eyes a little bit, to be honest. But the car felt faster in VR. This was my first racing experience in VR. I'm very familiar with the BMW M2 and this racetrack because I've actually driven it a few times in this car when I first got iRacing. But the car feels faster, which means you can see that I'm braking earlier, and it feels scarier to brake because in real life my brakes do not brake that hard and that fast in real life in my car. So everything that I was doing in the VR felt a lot more... It felt like the stakes were higher. And of course, I got a drive-through penalty, so I had to drive through the pits, which means that my mid-pack start ended up in basically a last place start. But I really wanted to try out VR, and what ended up happening was I decided that it wasn't for me. Not because of the pace difference, I could definitely get used to braking later, and I love being able to look to my left, look to my right, and see what's going on. But mainly because it looks so bad. I really have to get a better VR headset and a better computer, and I just can't do that. So for that race, as much as it was a cool experiment, and it was nice to see that in the real world I would have to adapt quite a bit, I really lost 50 iRating, and my safety rating I gained a little bit. But race 3 is meatballs, and you'll see why in a little bit. But being patient and taking advantage of openings and mistakes is a really hard line to learn. I have to figure out exactly where I can overtake, where I can't overtake, but I felt really comfortable. Unlike the last two races, well, I did practice in the M2, but unlike the Nürburgring race, I learnt from that. I thought I need to make sure that I'm practicing the track, and so I did. So I've already practiced this track, I know how to race it. I'm not exactly the best when it comes to racing this track, but I have decent pace. So you can see the strength of field was 1,400, and that wasn't exactly low, but it wasn't high either. It's basically bang on what my iRating is at. So it's all similarly skilled people, and I'm in P9. You can see that there's a little bit of chaos though. These people going off the track and having a lot of trouble staying in line. And I put that down to overdriving. Exactly what I did in the Nürburgring, where I saw a little gap and I thought, you know what? I can make that gap. And so I tried to make that gap and it closed, and it was always going to close. But I wanted to get ahead, even though I was trying to be cautious. And I think that happens a lot when racing on a small track like this one. The lap times are about a minute, so it can feel quite chaotic. You've got tight corners that if you do flat out, you use the whole track, so there's not a lot of space for other cars on the track, and there's lots of opportunities to push people out of the way and to put pressure on them and force them to make mistakes. And so if you're overdriving to defend, then it can be a bit of an issue. Now you can see here, other than the guy completely glitching out in front of me, which made me quite nervous because I wasn't sure where I should go and where I shouldn't go, where they're braking and whatnot. I really had decent pace. I was pretty close to the guys behind. I had climbed my way back up to, or not back up, but up to P7, which was really, honestly, fun. I really enjoyed it. And the racing, for some reason, on this track was just really, really fun. I get another 2 places there because those 2 guys fell off track, so that puts me in P5. P5 is an awesome position to be in. But then, by no fault of my own, this happens. And that means that even though now I'm in P4, what you'll see is actually I get a meatball flag from this. And if you don't know what a meatball flag is, I explained it in my last video, but basically it means that you have to return to the pits because your car is too damaged to continue the race. And that's really frustrating. Although you can see I'm driving straight, my wheel is actually to the right. So I am, and you can see here I've lost a second on my, or almost a second on my first corner, but I probably didn't have to pit. I was still in P5 at the end of that lap. 10 minutes to go. I probably could have tried to stay out, maybe but in reality it was just really frustrating. And I don't know if you saw there, but I was speeding by about 20 k's. So after I paused at the pit, I then had to serve a 30-second time penalty. So from P5, I got pushed all the way back to P14. And that was devastating because I'd worked really hard to claw my way up to P5. I'd driven within my budget, within my means, and it was just a terrible way to end the race. Position 14 after racing a good race was pretty heartbreaking, but it wasn't too bad. Well, it kind of was. I lost another 50 iRating, and my safety rating, I lost 0.05. My average lap time was good, my top speed was good, and in this race, you can see that my top speed was actually great. I get to show you my wheel, and this is a first time on the channel. You get to see my actual working prototype wheel, and I'm very excited to show this to you. My arm does get in the way of a lot of the recordings. It's my first time. I'll try not to use this camera position again, maybe do a bit more of a top down, but I also have the outside angles, the TV camera, and you can see here it is chaos, it is tightly packed, but I am managing really well. I've learned from my last races and the last 4 episodes how to defend quite well, where I can slow down to not allow anyone to overtake, where I need the pace to be. And although I'm in P5, I have good pace, and I'm able to really stick with the group behind. But you can see it's not an easy race. In this camera here angle, you can see the guy behind me, he's pretty close. The guy in front of me is also pretty close. The guy behind's getting a bit of a run here. But you can see how tight that pack is. People are going 3 and even 4 wide down the main straight just to try and defend and overtake and get ahead. And I didn't want to be part of that. So I think over the previous 3 races, I was able to find a nice balance of hard racing with good pace, but also patience, and that helps me finish race in a good position. You can see I get 2 extra positions there because 2 guys span out. And that wasn't my fault. It wasn't because I was driving super fast. It was just patience. But I am defending here. And I can slow it down on the apex and he can't get ahead. And so this is something that, and I do it again here, I know I can take this. If I keep it on the inside, he can't overtake unless he's taking a lot more speed on the outside. But that's not how the racing line works there. So I really tried to apply all the information I'd learned from the previous 3 races, other than the VR one. That was a bit of a waste of time. But I really tried to apply the information of driving within my means, making sure that I have the pace to stay ahead. And as you can see, I'm P3 and I've got a bit of pace on P2. A couple laps after that last lap I showed, I've got pace on this guy. And I notice here that he's quite slow. And I think, oh, maybe I can go for a move. And so I kind of fake a move. I see that he's defending, so I think, you know what, I'm going to try and get a better exit. And I don't really get a better exit. Not by a massive amount, and it doesn't really affect anything. You can see this guy tries to sneak in there because I was trying to attack, not defend, but I'm able to fend it off by closing the door. And this is the following lap. I've decided, you know what, I do have the pace, and he knows now. I put it in his head. That was on purpose the last lap. So this one, I can take the inside, do what the previous guy did to me, and you can see that because I kind of got him out of the way, and then I can slow it down on the apex. If I take it on the inside, I'm able to stay ahead, and that secures me position 2. That is 2nd place. And my pace, it's good, but you can see P1 has a top fastest lap that's faster than my lap. So I'm not really going to get to P1, I don't think, but I am able to keep P2 until the final lap. And that was with patience, with defending, with skill in between the races. I've really just improved my racecraft over the last 4 episodes, and it's really satisfying to put that use and that knowledge to good use. And watching the replays and editing these videos even has definitely helped me in reviewing where my racing is going wrong and where it's going quite well. So I have to say that's been a massive input. If you're struggling with your race pace or with your racecraft, then definitely review your races after the fact, because it makes a massive difference. And just a little note on my wheel, this is my sim racing wheel. This is the prototype without the circuit board, so it's just all wires that I've soldered together inside. And I'm on my own custom built wheelbase that definitely won't go for sale. But as you can see, I am very happy with P2. I was trying really hard to put in a good race because I'd lost over the last 3. I was feeling a little bit depressed, honestly, that I'd lost so many positions. And so I was really happy with that success. But this positioning makes me 83 iRating, which almost brings me up to where I lost, the 1531. Almost back up to where we started the episode at, but with a lot more learning. We have quite large losers. Someone lost 92 iRating, which is horrible. But my safety rating is also at 3.49. So overall, even though I wasn't not even close to the top split, overall it was a good race. So if you want to continue to watch the build videos or continue to watch me get better at sim racing, then please follow along. Subscribe, like the video, and check out the comments. Engage with other racers in the community, other people trying to learn how to race. Thanks for watching. See you next video for an exciting one.